Hurrah for the election. Beware of waves. Less than 24 hours remain for the presidential polls. Things are heating up for the candidates and their supporters. More than 17 million voters will decide who will steer the country in the next 5 years. For the media, it is a time of inactivity on the matter of politics. Everything that happens cannot be reported during the silent period. So, hear the following. Last Thursday morning, my wife was getting into her sari to go to work. I told her that wearing a sari won't be a wise thing to do because all forms of waves, or frills in the case of saris, are now banned. Quite tolerant to all my silly jokes, she bent down and arranged the frills. I am not joking. The sari could get raised anywhere according to media guidelines, I said. That made her quite angry. I will take care of anyone who tries to touch my sari. Previously too, some tried it, but they failed. They couldn't lay their hands on the jacket at least, said my wife. I became silent, well knowing her purity of character. She said she would be a little late to come. I have to buy things enough for a couple of weeks in case there will be a curfew. That won't happen. Shops will become empty if people start hoarding like what happened during the corona period. Just like all other wives, she listens very little to her husband. She is no feminist, but she knows most of my advices to be impractical. She is the one who runs the home front. Society seems to think that a famine will follow the election. All want to keep stocks of foods and other essentials. Then, traders start selling at higher prices or hoarding themselves. Even in America, that happened after the September 11th attacks, a friend in New York told me. But during the tsunami, something different happened in Japan. People who lost all their things were allowed to get their needs free of charge, even alcohol. A country worth living in. A famine comes not as a surprise for a poor country that spends billions on an election. That money could easily go for development. Saying no to an election could be seen as allowing a dictatorship. My question is whether an election is essential to elect a president. It can be done in an Aragalaya. That happened in our country and in some others too. The elections department can then be closed down and the money thus saved diverted for charity. Presently, what is left after an election is the deposit money of the losers only. So, I believe that longer the list, that is better for the country. Also, the deposit should be increased to at least 3 million rupees. There is only one winner. Speaking about Aragalaya, something published in a Bangladeshi website came to mind. A relation asked a child what he would do when he grows up. The child answered that he would grow up and become a rebel because he likes to direct the traffic. In an anarchic Bangladesh, students were left with controlling the traffic. Everywhere headless struggles happened and leaders had to be imported. Suddenly I got a call from my wife. I am in office. Frills of the sari are safe. Be careful. Don't write anything about the election. Laws are very strict. I agreed with her, put my pen in the drawer and the hand in the pocket. I am a law-abiding citizen. Hurrah for the election. The above was sent to us by Kapila Kumara Kalinga. We too have to say something to the voters. Voting is your right, your chance to decide who will rule the country in the next 5 years. No one can influence you in that. Everyone has the freedom to make their own choice. So go in peace, vote and return directly home to wait for the result. Don't get into any trouble. There will be no one to help if you get into trouble. That's it for today.
The Leader, දේශයට මග කියන ප්‍රවෘත්ති පෙළගැස්ම